You spend hours creating great content, but you're losing your audience in the first few seconds. The solution is very often simpler than you think. So in this video, I'll show you a secret and professional Adobe Express animation trick like this that hooks your audience's attention and keeps them engaged. You don't need to have any design skills, and you don't need a PhD in motion graphics. And my thanks to Adobe Express for sponsoring this video. To start off, sign into a free Adobe Express account. If you're new to Adobe Express, just type this URL into your browsers. I've left a link in the description underneath this video to help you get started. So let's hop over to my Adobe Express account. The first step is to set up a template. First of all, you want to open an existing design or start a new one from scratch, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to select an Instagram reel, and that opens a blank template in my design editor. Next, upload or drag and drop the media you're going to use. You don't have to use video files. A series of brand photos works equally well. I've already uploaded a series of photographs, so I'm going to add them to my template. So that's the first photograph added to the first page, and I'm just going to resize the photograph so it covers the entire template. To add a new page to your template, click on the Add Media button and add a blank scene. And I'm now going to add a further photograph to this page. Select the photograph, it appears on my page, and I'm going to do exactly the same by resizing it so that it covers the page. I'm going to repeat this process really quickly until I've got all the pages added to my template. Now I've got 6 pages on my template. Now, since we're creating an Instagram reel, we've got a video timeline at the bottom of the screen. So let's have a look at a couple of features before we move on. The thumbnails underneath are your pages. You'll find the play button right at the centre, so click on it to play through your video. On the right-hand side of the video timeline is a button that says Show Timing. If you click on it, you must select all layers for this video, and I'll explain why this is important later on. You can use the zoom tool to decrease the size of the thumbnails or increase them, and I would recommend that you increase the size because it does make editing much easier. And the black line with the kind of inverted triangle at the top is the video playhead, and this is really important. Hover over it with your cursor, hold the playhead down, and you can scrub right through a video. Finally, you'll see there's a number against each photograph on the timeline, and this is the duration each page will appear on the video before it changes to the next page. You can change the duration of the page by grabbing a hold of the sidebars with your cursor and dragging them in to reduce the duration, or out again to increase the duration. Now, before I do anything else, I'm just going to use a little bit of Adobe Firefly magic to delete the text from this bottle. And Firefly is available for free inside Adobe Express. So I'm just going to, with my cursor, paint over the text that I want to remove and click remove, and within a few seconds it will be gone from the bottle. And now that's done, I'm going to add some different elements to the template, like text overlay. You can add one line of text or multiple lines. It's entirely up to you. So I'm going to run through this very quickly so that we can get on to the interesting part of adding animations. Lovely, so I've got 2 lines of text, and I've also added a line in between. And for the final finishing touch, I'm going to go over to my brand kit, select the correct brand kit, and add the logo to my template. Now for the exciting bit, we're going to add animations. Select the element you want to animate first, click Edit, go over to the left-hand side panel, click the Animation tab, and that brings up a whole menu of animations. There are 3 types of animations you can add to an element: in, loop, and out. The in animation controls how an element enters a page, the out animation controls how it leaves a page, and the loop animation keeps it moving continuously. If you're unsure what the animation will look like on your page, just hover your cursor over the animation thumbnail. So for the in animation, I'm going to select blur by clicking on the thumbnail, and you'll notice that right at the center of the thumbnail, there are some more options to customize the animation. I can change the duration of the animation by grabbing a hold of this little button with my cursor and dragging it along the slider bar to increase or decrease the duration. There's an option to change the personality of the duration from smooth, strong, and energetic. So I'm going to go for smooth, and then underneath I can also customize the intensity of the animation. So you can have a lot of fun with these settings. So that's the in animation sorted. Now scrolling back up to the top, you can go ahead and add a loop animation and also an out animation as well. Just a quick tip, you don't need to use an in, loop or an out animation, and you don't have to animate everything on the template. In fact, less is more when it comes to design. If everything is moving at once, it actually becomes a distraction and that works against you. Animating text is just as easy and straightforward. Just click on the text element first and then select your animation from the panel. You'll find some slightly different animations for text. I'm going to select a slide for the first line of text and customize it by changing the duration to 1 second. I can choose whether to animate each character, word or line. Select an animation personality and also change the direction. So continue in exactly the same way for each element you want to animate. Once done, click on the preview button to see how your template looks. I think that looks great. Now this is the fun part and will give your content that extra special finishing touch. Rather than all the animated elements appearing on the page at the same time, you're going to set up a sequence so they appear one by one. It might seem complicated to begin with, but trust me, once you've done it a few times, you'll be able to do it in your sleep. So decide in which order you want the elements to appear, and you might want to jot the order down on a piece of paper. On this page, I've got an animated photograph and 3 lines of text, which look like that if I play them through. But I don't want the text appearing on the page all at the same time, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to double check by clicking on Show Timing and make sure that I've got all layers selected. Next, I'm going to pull the video editor up slightly so I can see all my layers, and that's much better. So I've got 3 layers of text, a logo, and my photograph. Next, I'm going to drag the video playhead to the start of the page. Jasmine is the first line of text I want to appear on the page, so I've selected it with my cursor, and grabbing a hold of the video playhead, I'm going to move it 1 second in from the start of the page. Next, I'm going to grab a hold of the text sidebar in the video timeline and drag it along the video timeline so that it lines up with the video playhead. I want the second line of text to begin 2 seconds in from the start of the page. So again, with my cursor, I'm going to drag the video playhead to the 12-second mark on the timeline. Grab a hold of the text sidebar again and drag that so that it aligns with the playhead. And I'm just going to quickly run through the third line of text. So now let's play that through and see what the page looks like. And I think you'll agree this is already starting to look much more sleek and professional. Repeat this step as many times as you want throughout the template. And although they're not strictly animations, you can finish up by adding some gorgeous transitions between each page of your template so that they flow beautifully from one to the next. And once you've added one transition, you can apply them between all scenes just to save yourself a bit of time. And this is my completed video. Now that you've learnt how to use Adobe Express animations to create scroll-stopping social media content, why not learn how to generate weeks' worth of social media content, including the captions, by integrating Adobe with Claude AI? Believe me when I say it is really mind-boggling. You'll find the link to the video right here. If you found this video useful, please do consider liking and subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.